Hello, all you barnacles on the side of my ship that I am just going to scrape off right now. This is our podcast, and I'm Laz,
And I'm Cody,
and we're not across the pond, but across
the other pond.
pond.
The show where we actually call our fans barnacles because you guys are stuck to us like glue.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Thank you
It's
so
kind of
much for
like
being a barnacle.
kind of like the super glue that I used to use in like elementary school, and I made like little rubber bouncy balls with. And I actually sold them for profit. I remember I used to like take I used to buy like what is it? Like those color changing pens that had like the 20 colors in them in like Dollar Tree. I would
Yeah.
buy one of those and I would open it up and I would put it into the glue and then like color the glue and then form it into a ball, and then I would sell it to people for like 5 cents. Yeah.
An entrepreneur from the beginning.
Mhm.
Today's episode has a wonderful guest. We have our friend Carl, the martial arts instructor and Zelda lover, along with us.
Yeah.
Hello.
Say hi, Carl.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
Mhm. So like and one of the big main reasons that I invited Carl on is because like pretty much as soon as I knew him, like I saw that he had like this giant like Hyrule shield tattoo on his like stomach. Like I've never seen anybody have that big of a Zelda tattoo, but he really, I mean,
It's pretty conspicuous.
yeah.
You can spot him from a mile away. That guy's a Zelda fan.
Uh-huh. But yeah, like today we're going to be talking about the themes of exploration in the Zelda themes and how it relates to life and like the philosophy behind exploring like your environment, and we'll even expand it to maybe the inner self and anything about exploration. So yeah.
Before we get really into it, I want to mention that I finished Zelda 2 this week, The Adventure of Link, because I'm playing through all of the games that I can this month. I'm just basically going as fast as possible through them. Not speedrunning, but just trying to beat them. I don't think I've ever been as angry at a video game as I was this week playing Zelda 2.
That one's a challenge.
It's so frustratingly hard and bad at the same time. Like, I like hard video games. Zelda 2 is hard because the way combat works is just strictly bad.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they went, we're in a 2D scape, let's make it so like half of the enemies just try to walk away from you as they throw things at you.
Yeah. Like that game was a complete joke. Like,
it's no fun. It's not fun.
Hard, but like not hard because it was designed well and like you had to figure stuff out. It was hard because it was just designed poorly. It was like you weren't fighting the things in the game, you were fighting the mechanics of the game.
The game itself. Yep. And then when you lose all your lives, you go all the way back to the first palace. You don't just from like the first game, the first Legend of Zelda, you wake up back in the dungeon you're in when you lose. In Zelda 2, you go all the way back to the very beginning. And when you're far in the game, that's a long walk. It's a long walk back to the dungeon you were in.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that rant out there. And I'm on Link to the Past, and it's such a breath of fresh air to play Link to the Past.
Well, but then are you also going to play through, like, what is it, the Panasonic machine thing, like the discs?
When I say I'm playing through the Zelda games, I'm specifically talking about the console ones that were like mainline canon console games.
I mean, like it's technically like Nintendo licensed, so
they're
I'm
not
just
canon.
saying
They are not canon.
Nintendo divorced themselves from those monstrosities.
Wait, did they come out? Like, did Miyamoto like actually come out? And it's like, yeah, that's not canon.
No, they've come out and been like, those aren't our games. They're
Yes.
not part of
Really?
those. The
They-
only company that has like their blessing is Capcom with Oracle of Seasons and Ages and Minish Cap.
Yeah, and those ones are
Mhm.
good.
They're fun.
Yeah,
I played a lot of the Oracle games.
I never played those. Like the only let's see, 2D Zeldas I played were I think Phantom Hourglass, and I think that might be it. Like I played like Four Swords, but that's like not like on a handheld or anything. I,
Mm-mm.
like so I need to go back and play some of those, like even Link to the Past. I was telling Cody last episode, is like I thought that Link to the Past and Four Swords were the same game.
Oh,
Just because I thought they look so similar. It's just like they're probably just the same. Yeah.
Well, and when Link to the Past was released on Game Boy Advance, that remake has Four Swords Adventure on it on the same cartridge.
Uh-huh. Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's just all confusing to me. But like what really spurred this kind of conversation about this is kind of like the whole reason that Miyamoto made the Zelda series in the first place, right? Like he made, cuz like when he was a kid, he would go out and explore in his backyard, and he found like this little like hole in the ground one day, and so like the next day he brought over a lantern with him, and he went in and he found that it was actually like a cavern with like an elaborate network of tunnels. And so he started exploring around there, and then that was like his first motivation to make the Zelda series. He wanted to bring that same sort of adventure and like that feeling of exploration in the game. And I think it's also interesting that it seems like for like the biggest Nintendo games like Mario and Legend of Zelda, they just kind of see whoever's around them in their life. Like it was like Zelda was the name of like their agent's wife or something
No,
like that.
it was
It's like
it's F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife.
who?
F. Scott, the author, F. Scott Fitzgerald, the American author. His wife's name is Zelda Fitzgerald, and they were like, "I really like that name," and they asked him if he could use it. And he was like, "Yeah, that sounds great."
Yeah. And they did the same thing for no, they did do that for Mario too. They're like their American branch, like it was like one of their like renters or something, like their landlord's name was Mario.
I think so. It was Mario.
And even with Kirby too, like there was it was like their lawyer's name was Kirby, and it's like, let's just call him Kirby. It's like, what's up with like them making like legendary like character names out of just like, hey, I met this guy the other day. It's like
so ubiquitously associated with those games that like no one's going to be named Zelda anymore unless it's in reference to like the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, that's like
anymore. Like I didn't
like
know
with
Kirby's name until like sometime in college. A friend's wife was named Kirby, and I was like, "What? That's like an actual person's name, like not just a like bubblegum creature."
Yeah, exactly. Like it's also weird for me to hear like, because I think like that those characters stole those names for the rest of eternity. It's just like, because like I mean like what's his name, the comedian
Robin Williams'
daughter, he named his daughter Zelda after the game, because he loved it so much. Yeah. Like so
sometimes that just happens, like a name gets like too famous of a person or character had a name, and then it's like, well, that name that's on the shelf now. That
or off the shelf, there's no one named Adolf anymore.
Yeah, like everyone in like Germany and Austria has like a great uncle or like grandfather or whatever named Adolf. Like that was a super common name until then, and that was just hard stop.
He ruined it. He took it. It's just gone now. We don't even have that in the lexicon anymore.
Yeah, it's like that one, like it. It's like one mouse turd in a vat of caramel. It might be a vat, but that one little thing, that one Adolf ruined it for everyone,
one little thing.
Yeah. But so like with me, and coming back to the main theme of this conversation, exploration for me is like a big part of my life. Especially like I was reading recently about this concept, this French concept called I think it's like flatteur. I forgot it now. I knew it just before I got flammeur. I think it's called flammeur, and it's pretty much this concept of like uh the stroller, like a person that goes out and strolls around for the whole joy of just experiencing the stroll and the world around them, you know? And like for me, a lot of times that kind of stroll and the exploration of a place that I am not super familiar with, or even if I'm super familiar with it already, like it it kind of expands my world in a little bit, in a sense. Because like for instance, um I've grown up around Maryville my whole life, but there are a lot of places in Maryville I've never been to. You know, it's like for instance, like there's that one corner where there's like a barbershop and like a laundromat. It's like I've never been on in that laundromat. But even like being like, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself to going to just that laundromat today. You know, just no reason at all. Just go in there and get a new perspective. Then you're in there and you kind of look out the window and you can kind of like see other things. It's like you might be living in that area your whole life, but you have never once in those 20 plus years ever looked out the window of that laundromat that's only like not even a mile away from your house, you know?
Something similar kind of happens to me a lot. Like, I've lived near St. Louis for a long time, but once I'm actually moved into the city, like for the longest time, I used to go to lots of things in St. Louis as like individual specific points. Like I would drive across the river to go to one place, and I drive back, then I drive across like one place and back. But once I lived here, I started going from one place to another and kind of realizing like, oh, these places that in my head, like my mental map, were like really far from each other or just completely unrelated little islands, kind of building up that like how these different places connect to each other. And like realizing that like, oh, sometimes like these neighborhoods I used to go to as like separate places are like 2 minutes like right next to each other. And kind of like when like the perspective you get between like a place you drive through all the time and then actually getting out and walking around there, sometimes the neighborhood looks totally different from walking on the street versus like driving through. And yeah, just kind of that smaller like angle to look at everything at, you know, moving slower and not just kind of blasting through it.
Yeah. And like you'll be able to see a lot more then.
Yeah.
Like one thing in Edwardsville that was really interesting was cuz like in downtown Edwardsville, I think around what is it? There's like that what is that restaurant called? The place that everyone either hates or loves. That has the really good no the sweet, it has sweet potato fries. Cleveland Heath.
Cleveland Heath, yeah.
Oh,
hello. Uh-oh.
I think we might have lost Laz there for a second.
Like orientation just changed here.
Hello. Oh no.
We're back. We were talking about Cleveland Heath.
I got cut off from the world.
They've got good fries.
Do you not see Carl?
Fix it in post. Okay. Wait, is Carl here? I don't hear or see
Resuming,
Carl.
We were talking about Cleveland Heath. You're going to hear that twice. Fix it in the edit, Laz.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to edit. But anyway, so like right around where Cleveland Heath is, right around the bend there, there's this little tiny alleyway that before I would just kind of like Carl said, I would just blast past it in my car. But one day I was like actually like walking past there because I was going from there to like Chavez or like the little Mexican place around the bend there. And I looked in the alleyway and the creepiest shit I have ever seen. Just like this stone angel is in there.
There is.
Yeah.
Like that, because like that was the time where I was getting kind of freaked out as like there was this thing in like a Minecraft mod where they had like these crying angel things that would only move closer to you if you looked away. Yep. And I was like, that kind of it was like the week that I was freaking out about that, and I looked at it, I was like just like a little, I actually like
they were manifesting in your real life.
But then, like, just that one split second, I was like, oh my God, it's real. And then I was like, wait a minute. But and then I was just like, it was just the strangest thing to me. Like I've been here how long? And I've never seen that in that specific alleyway, just that tiny little crevice in the wall. There's this like immaculate concrete statue of an angel there, you know? Like, and just knowing that is almost like, it almost makes me feel like I have something that no one else has. It's like my little gem of a like a little trivia in my head about Edwardsville is just like that concrete angel. It's like I'll just like go down there with someone that doesn't really know Edwardsville, and it's just like, check this out, and they're like, huh. You know. But like I personally enjoy really getting to know a city and getting to know a place and knowing it better than most people, you know. And when I was in Xiamen, like I would, especially when I was just like feeling just horrible one day, I was just like it was not my day. I would just be like, I guess it's just another day where I'm just gonna have to get some snacks, some water bottles, backpack, and just start walking that way, you know. And I would just like get to know the city that way. So I feel like that just expands you as a person, you know, like, because when your mental map is so immaculate like that, you know, I mean, you actually feel like you have a new places to go to, because I think a lot of people, they end up in this A, B, like going between point A and point B kind of life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why some people are drawn to video games a lot, like Zelda and stuff like that, because you can explore from your home, from your couch. You can just dive into a video game world and really get to know it. Yeah. Like, you watched that video that I sent you of the people finding the last chest in Breath of the Wild that is, it's like buried under a desert, or it's buried under the beach at the north of the map, and it despawns. I don't know how people even find that stuff, but they throw themselves into exploring the world of Hyrule literally until it's exhausted.
Did you send it to Carl?
I did not send it to Carl. I should send it to...
Well, you should have sent it. Yeah, you should have sent it into the chat. I didn't think about that. But like, yeah, like they were finding like all these like treasure chests that were like, I guess, you know how like developers will put things outside of like the play space?
Yeah.
Just as almost like an afterthought. It's like, we don't need to put it like delete it or anything. And like people figured out ways to like clip through the desert and whatnot to get to these places. And like this one that Cody sent me is just crazy. Like they do all these really weird clipping techniques where it's like he would just like get into this one state. I haven't played Breath of the Wild enough to know exactly what's going on, but he got into this one like time slow state and just like kept like hitting the ground really hard, and it like took all of his stamina away, and it just kept going. And then he's like clipped through, and then it was like he had to fall through like 5 minutes, and then he had to like swim like rapidly in one direction, and then like use the magnetizer technique to get like the chest. It was just like all this crazy stuff for like 10 minutes straight, and it's like he finally opens it, and it's like a piece of amber. It's like, yay.
I dropped it in the chat like, so you can watch it later, Carl.
Cool.
Yeah, like I mean, and I talked about this in the episode with solo game dev too. Like, you know, like in Banjo-Kazooie, finding the question mark eggs was also like a really amazing experience as well, you know, just finding things in the environment.
Breath of the Wild, like all of the Korok seeds, there's like 400 something of.
I think there's 900.
900?
Yep.
Okay. That's absurd. Either way, something I never did.
Oh, well, I don't blame
I
you
think
there.
I got to about 430 of them before I was like,
At a certain point, it's like
I'm
you look at
done.
the map, and if you have like the icon for the Koroks that you found on, you basically can't see anything else on your map.
Yep.
It's just like blanketing the whole. There's so many, and like what's amazing is just that like the reward for getting the final, like getting all of them, is a golden poop statue.
Yep.
That's it. Like it does nothing.
Yep.
It's just like, here you go. You did it.
And you max out all of the things you get for doing it, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Korok seeds before you hit the max. Like I think it's like once you've collected like 300 of them, you're capped out on all the rewards. Those last 600 are just to be like, if you want to spend all of your time exploring and finding these seeds, you go for it, but you're just gonna get literal shit at the end.
Yeah. And that is like literally like combing through the map like inch at a time, just weaving back and forth.
I don't think you can do it without a guide. I think it's impossible.
There are some that are tough. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I think some people like games for that kind of OCD like element to it, because like I mean that's exactly why I'm pressing the 5 button right now as we speak, you know. But like what is it? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like I remember before we just start this talk, like a few days ago, we were talking about how in Zelda, one thing that changes the way we look at the world in Zelda is the different power-ups in it, right? Like the like the grappling hook and all like the boomerang and all the classic, you know, Zelda weapons and gizmos and whatnot. I mean, like, and when it comes to looking at that in reality as well, like you can think of like all the different technology, even just in our lifetime. It's like, you know, having smartphones, like we grew up like through the whole shebang, like going from pretty much like the giant brick of a cell phone all the way to flip phones, and then now we're to smartphones, and then maybe soon we'll also get just like, you know, I don't know, implanted in our eye and just, or in our brain, where we just know, we just become a hive mind, you know.
Yeah, can't wait for that day. I mean, smartphones have completely changed the way exploration can happen in real life too, because now you have a map in your pocket all the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you get lost, you can just be like, okay, where am I? Unless your phone's dead, and then you're screwed. But I mean, it solves that problem, and then it introduced like a really cool way to do like geocaching and stuff. Where you're like, go to this location and explore this. Geocaching feels like real life Zelda to me. It's like real life Korok seeds.
Have you done it before?
I mean, I've done it for a class one time.
I've been meaning to try it. I've never done it before. Like, yeah, like
it's such a unique idea. That. It's like people building their own exploration game in real life.
Well, we should probably explain what geocaching is.
It's people leave stuff and they leave coordinates, and then you go to those coordinates and you pick up the thing that they left behind.
Yep.
And hopefully no one's waiting there with like, you know,
Max.
Yeah. That's the real fun of it. You turn a Zelda game into like Silent Hill.
Real quick. The tone has changed dramatically.
Well, like
suddenly boss music starts playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But such good music. I wish I could hear Zelda music as I walk around all day without headphones, just playing in the sky. Just hear the overworld theme.
Just back that technology up and just full on boombox controller.
Yeah, like I need someone. I need to hire someone one day, just for maybe even a week, to write a soundtrack for just my everyday life, just go around and just like make themes and whatnot, and just like the Laz is eating a peanut butter sandwich theme, and just see what that sounds like. Just for a week. I once I get enough money, I'm gonna be one of those guys that just like does strange things with it. I'll be like, like there is Eric Satie, that guy.
Yeah, Satie.
He's a composer. He was kind of a whack job. Like he like one of the things, I mean, it's not like a really weird thing, but it's also something, and it's like, like he was used to sleeping on his belly, so he decided to like saw a hole in his bed so he can like put his head through it while he's sleeping, and then like he only ate white things. Like he didn't eat anything of any other color. It was only white.
How?
And he ate, I don't know, but like he had enough money where he's just like, I will not eat color. I will only eat white, the absence of color. Or no, wait, that's actually the opposite. It would be the like all colors combined, right? Maybe that's why it
in the light spectrum. It is
I don't
the
know.
combination of all colors.
With
but he also ate like 700. He also ate like 700 oysters a day as well.
It's way too many.
So for the virality,
that's way too many fucking oysters.
That's way too.
This guy's ruining oyster farming.
Yeah, but like, but yeah, like, the whole thing with having GPS and like maps now, like it's great for like when you're in your own country, but sometimes like when you're like when you forget that and you just start wandering around in like Hong Kong, like I remember like I just looked, because like I had a map, but I didn't have like the little dot that showed me you are here.
Uh-huh.
So like I was just like, there's a mountain over here. Why don't I just go over there and start walking around? And I guess that was a mistake, because I started seeing like, what was it? I saw a wild boar. I didn't know they existed in Hong Kong. I was just like walking around, and like the first thing that kind of caught my eye that was kind of funny was like, there was like a rain gutter like on the mountains in China. Like there's usually like these like they put rain gutters. I think they do it here too, like into the mountain,
like channels to
yeah. And like on the side of like the mountain, like the cliffs and whatnot, you'll see a whole bunch of these holes on it where water comes out. And like there was just like these 3 old ladies that had a whole bunch of like these big old water bottles, like 5-gallon bottles, and they were filling them up with rainwater. And I was like, what are you doing there? And they were drinking it and whatnot. I was like, you do that? Like it was kind of strange, especially to see in Hong Kong. Like I mean, I would expect to see that more on the mainland, but not in Hong Kong. But then, yeah, like I went down a little longer. It was like past dusk, and I just see like a wild boar with its kids like trailing by. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be scared right now. Like I've heard wild boar are like super aggressive, and it's like, but I just looked at the guy in front of me, and he was just chill. He was just walking. I was like, okay, I'll just act like how he is and see if that works. I don't know if he saw them and was just like chill about it, or if he didn't know and he would freak out if he knew, So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go. And then nothing happened, but like that kind of freaked me out. Oh, also like the other thing that happened there was I just walked into a prison. Like it didn't say. I was just like, I just was walking down this peninsula, and I was like, there's less and less buildings here, and then it was like very, very thin, where like there was only a bus could go through, one like bus that would go back and forth, and like there was no signs that said do not enter. So I was like, I guess I can keep going. And then like I was like right outside like the gate of the penitentiary, and then like a bus went past, and I had to like squeeze against the wall there to let it pass. And they were just looking at me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here, man? I was like, maybe I should go back. you know, but I mean, like, see that like exploration, just like wandering about like that and just like finding places, like even like going to the wrong places, like the penitentiary. It just like, I don't know. It adds to the experience of life and just like, has some good stories to tell, just, and sometimes you actually find like little interesting holes in the wall, that no one else would know, like kind of like some of the places I found in Xiamen, which, yeah,
And kind of like Breath of the
so
Wild, like totally
Mhm.
can start the game and just like beeline straight for Hyrule Castle and like walk in its
Mhm.
room and try to see what's up. It's probably not a good idea, but you can
Yeah.
do it. Like,
Mhm.
and, you know, if you're bold enough in real life, you can walk right into a lot of places. And if you just
Mhm.
pretend like you're supposed to be there, like
Uh-huh.
you can do it.
Yeah.
I remember
Well, I mean,
my boss one time. I think it was one of his friend's bachelor parties. Like they like went to like a football game. I don't know who or anything. Like I don't know anything about sports really, but went to a football
mhm.
game and they were sitting like pretty close, like right off the field because he's a wealthy dude, so that's what you do. Like
Mhm.
right at the center line, and in the middle of the game, he was watching some of like the audio guys, and like he didn't really care about the game either, so he wasn't really paying attention to the game. He was watching audio
Uh-huh.
guys like moving cameras around, or audio and video guys moving cameras and stuff around, and he just like walked up behind them and grabbed a cable on the ground and started like feeding the cable along with them, and just kind of followed them around for like the entire like half the game, it just like moving cables back and forth and just like pretending to be busy and shit, just to like, and like nobody said anything for like the longest time. So
Like, is that guy supposed to be here? I don't know, man. He seems like he knows what he's doing,
like
though. So just let him keep doing it.
he doesn't seem to be caring about the game or like anything. So like he probably works here. But yeah, he was there for
Mhm.
quite a while, just hanging out on the field during the game. Eventually, he noticed like somebody looked like a supervisor, like pointing at him and stuff, talking to someone else. So then he just like went back to his seat and stuff, but like never actually got confronted or anything. Walk out
I
there,
mean, like,
pretend like you're supposed to be there, and that's all you got to do.
well, yeah, that's actually a lot of times like especially like being out of the country, you got to just learn how to do that with a lot of things. Like I used to do that was it? Like the universities in China, like they're all like gated off.
Mm.
So like you actually have to go through checkpoints to get in.
Okay.
And so like one day like I wasn't in university yet, so like a friend that wanted to meet me in the university was like, "Yeah, just come in." And I was like, "But I can't show anything." And it's like, "Well, figure out a way." And I was like, "Okay." And so I just like puffed up my chest a little bit and I just looked forward and I just walked straight past the guards. And they didn't say anything. Like, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I can do this," Like so that does really work, like as long as you make yourself like seem like you fit in. Like like even I remember one time I almost accidentally like went into like a an ongoing orchestra performance over there too, because I was at the wrong venue and I was just like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here, and I just kept started walking, and then like when I was about to get in, like there was like a crowd of like 3 or 4 people that just like suddenly ran up to me and it's just like, wait a minute, do you have a ticket for here? And I was like,
What are you talking?
yeah, isn't this the place for the free concert? And then they're like, wait, no, this is like a recording session, you're almost crashing. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, bye. you know but like yeah, like, yeah, I don't like have, because like even back when I was hanging out with, when I was like roommates with Cody, like we used to kind of like, there was one time we were just like bored and it was like, it was summertime, we were still in college and we were just like, why don't we just pick a direction and start going that way today? It was like we decided on south, so we went to Arkansas.
Yep.
You know, and we had horrible barbecue at a place that's apparently like the East St. Louis of Arkansas. I was like, okay.
And
But
that's
you know,
sometimes where you end up. But it was a good experience. We saw a camel on our way down. There was a camel in a graveyard in Missouri somewhere.
oh yeah, like it was like one of those weird roadside
I refuse
attractions.
to elaborate.
Wait, was it a?
It was a live camel. I remember seeing it as we were driving down because I looked over and I was like, that's a graveyard. And there's a camel walking around in there. Whose camel is that? And then we were gone, because we were just driving. I was like, that is a memory that will stick with me with no explanation forever.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, whatever you want to get people to go on road trips, I suppose. It's like go to Camel Graveyard in southern Missouri, $50 per person. And then you get them with the gift shop.
And then you get them at the fucking gift shop.
Yeah, it's like printed T-shirts, like Camel Graveyard. I mean, I would pay at least $30. Like,
man, if it was a well-designed shirt,
$30.
If it was a well-designed shirt, $25, easy.
Yeah, I would pay that.
Most famous camel graveyard in southern Missouri. I mean,
the most, like, out of all the camel graveyards
in southern Missouri.
Yeah, like but so what else do you think in like in life, like what kind of things like make you change the way you look at the world around you?
I mean, and we talked about like new technology and stuff. One of the biggest things there, like not necessarily like new advancements in technology, but one of those kind of going back to that, like you unlock a new thing and suddenly like your world just gets bigger. Remember being in high school and suddenly like being able to drive.
Oh yeah.
It's a really big thing. Like, especially like your own town, you're pretty much, you got a couple of points that you hang out at a lot, around your own house where you can walk to from there, then like around your school and where you can walk to from there, and maybe a couple other places where like friends live and stuff. But then suddenly like, you can drive and your town just gets like 45 times bigger. So that's a big thing there.
Yep. And suddenly you have to drive all your friends around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can also have so many more opportunities to almost kill yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
a hang glider in Zelda, and that you jump.
Sometimes you got to have risky items,
and you land right next to a Lionel, and game over.
Well, Zelda was it the first kind of like real like open world kind of like almost sandbox kind of game?
It was pretty close. There were some on the Atari. There was like Atari Adventure, I think was the name of it, that was like a top down. You walk around and explore, and then
E.T., right? Extraterrestrial.
That was kind of like that.
Yeah. Zelda was definitely the best one though. It was the first one that was like,
I don't know. E.T. was pretty good. But like I don't know, like to me, like playing the first Zelda now is not very it's not really conducive to an adventure feel, to me at least. Maybe it's just because I'm so, what is the word? Spoiled with like everything now.
Was the best they could. You could see what they were trying to do, but like technology was limited.
I think it really depends on how you interact with it, because now that it's so accessible and it's not through the cartridge and you don't have the game booklet in front of you anymore and stuff like that, because you can just download a ROM or you can play it on the Switch. Because when it first came out, it had the whole booklet that told you the whole story of why you were doing anything, why you were there. The way that you were supposed to learn how to do it, Miyamoto envisioned that you would talk with your friends about it and share like tips and tricks and be like, oh yeah, you go over here and you discover this and that. So the experience of talking to your friends and stuff, and the world grows with you guys as you become experienced and learn all of the secrets. And I mean, and you could call Nintendo Power and be like, I'm stuck. You have to help me. And they would give you an answer, give you a hint, and tell you what to do. Like,
really,
I think
It's
it
such a fun job to have,
encapsulates
by the way.
adventure.
Like be on the call line as like the wise wizard that like give like you don't just tell them how to do it, but you have like riddles for people. Like
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Did they really do that? Did they have like riddles and whatnot?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that you paid for it, so they would tell you the answer.
Yeah.
I can imagine it was just some guy that's like doesn't really care at all. It's just like it was like a little Johnny. He's like, "Hey, Mister, I'm trying to find the kid that's at the second dungeon," and he's like, "Just go right." It's like, but wait, right from where? Like, how far up do I need to go? And it's like, kid, I'm hungry. I'm gonna get a pizza after this. Just go right and then go up and down. I don't know.
Well, the answer, but you have to call Domino's and tell them to deliver a pizza to this address.
Exactly. Like, it reminds me of another thing that I heard recently is like, I don't know where I heard it, but like, how like the first Grand Theft Auto had like cheat codes where you had to like enter them with the phone and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like I read this, like, I think it was on Reddit, like this guy like never played video games before, and like Grand Theft Auto was his like first one. And he's like, he heard about cheats and getting more infinite health and whatnot. And he's like, whoa, this is cool. And then he looked at the phone numbers and he's like, I guess I just need to borrow my dad's phone. And so he like put in the number, and it was actually a guy, and the guy's like, hello? And it's like, hi, I'm Ben. And it's like, who? And it's like, what do you want? It's like, I want more health.
Send me my money.
Like, oh man.
But for Ocarina of Time, there were some really fun cheats you could do with a Game Shark. You guys remember Game Sharks?
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, I mean, look at me with all my gimmicks that I'm doing for like Pokemon and
there were
like
some
RuneScape.
good ones.
I used the green.
My
Game
favorite
Shark
was
like it was like
let you fly. Like if you press the L button, you would just like levitate, and you could kind of like go over stuff. But there were so many places where kind of like that in the Breath of the Wild, they using the stasis thing to like slam into the ground, like clip through stuff. You could do it really easy with this because most of the world, anything that you weren't supposed to be able to see, had no back to it.
Yeah.
So, like if you were in like the Lon Lon Ranch and just floated above it, the world would just be like empty around you. And if you fell over the edge, fall infinitely. But you could get like pretty much any game with like weird clipping stuff. Like you could go straight to the Ganon's Tower and everything. As like
that's like the speed run for it. Like you just like clip through something in the beginning, and then you're like automatically
through the
in Ganon's
doorway.
Tower.
Like
it's like a weird wrong warp.
Yeah.
From the Deku Tree, you end up.
Oh, here I'm back. So we got exploration through like different tools and whatnot. But how about how about the feeling of adventure that it gives? Do you think the feeling of adventure is from like the exploration and just like having things to find, or is it is there something else there?
I feel like a lot of the feeling of adventure comes from not knowing what you're going to find, like not just going to a location to like get a thing, or like because you know what it's going to but kind of the like not knowing your destination yet. So in one way, sometimes I feel like maybe technology can kind of take away from that sometime. Like we were talking about like with the maps and stuff, having Google Maps like direct you straight to things all the time rather than having to like follow directions anymore. Like, do you guys remember printing out MapQuest directions? Or one of my first jobs was for a newspaper or a publishing company, and like occasionally I'd have to do like delivery stuff. But it was before GPS. So I guess GPS were kind of a thing, but like you had to have a standalone unit and stuff. Like have one of those and stuff,
and download the maps from time to time that needed updating.
Use one of those. We had like an actual street guide for the cities that we were in, like in the van and stuff. And like reading a street guide is just like the most esoteric like deciphering of like I don't even think I could do it now. If I pulled one out, I just stare at it blankly and be like, I don't. But where am I? Where's the dot?
What is a street guide? I've never heard of that.
I mean, it's based like a really detailed map, like that has all of the streets of a city like numbered and stuff, and yeah. So
is that just? I mean, that just sounds like a map to me. I've never heard that.
Well, I guess it's like a map that has a like a table, an index essentially. So that you,
oh, okay, that makes sense.
So, and then you'd have to have like coordinates on it, so you could like go to the index, find the street you're looking for in the alphabetical list, and then find like the page that it's on and stuff to, figure out from there. So yeah, just a map with extra information, I guess.
Just sounds like a map with extra steps.
Yeah. Well, like that's a good point, man. Like, cause like nowadays when you're going somewhere, it just feels like it kind of happened to me and Fanfang yesterday when we were in St. Louis and we were just like trying to find a place to eat. And we were gonna go to this Brazilian place called something like that.
Yemanja.
Yeah, but it was open only on like
it's weird, yeah,
Friday to Sunday. And I was like, okay, well, I've heard Brazilian time is a little different, let's say, but like, but yeah, and then it was interesting that like after we got kind of depressed from that not being open, we were just sitting in the car and like I pulled up restaurants and there was like so many restaurants. I was just like, I don't know. It's like you get to this point where all the places around you, like on your phone, and it's just like I don't want to go to any of them. It's like you don't feel like going in any direction then.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, let's go to some place that we know. And then it just so happened it was someplace in Belleville, and the GPS took us through pretty much all of the worst areas of East St. Louis. But that was interesting in itself, like because I've never actually seen this
joint that's like right across the street from the prison when you're going through.
Is that place good? Because I
think about it because I'm going past. I'm like, someday I'm gonna stop there. It looks so sketchy. Like,
yeah,
gotta be.
I mean, like, because I was that actually stood in my mind, like, because we were going down St. Clair Avenue there, and like, I feel like we're gonna dox ourselves by saying all these places, but like, whatever, but like, I stopped at that intersection, and I saw the barbecue place. It's like, that place looks interesting, and probably because like some of the best places are kind of sketch looking, And I looked at it and was like, And then like right across the street, it was like this weird like t-shirt place that like, looked kind of like
a parking lot, basically.
Yeah, it looked like a vegetable stand that was selling t-shirts, and I was like, that kind of looks interesting too. But at the same time, I was like, this place is kind of sketch, so I'm kind of afraid, But then I looked like behind me is like there was like the prison, and I was like, that gave me both like a weird sense of security and kind of like maybe this is really sketchy.
Like a lot of people probably had their best meal in a long time at that barbecue stand.
Yeah, probably.
That's interesting to think about, actually.
But I one of these days I'm just gonna have to like go to like, because I saw that place on because I was telling Carl about this. I've been interested in like the places around like the riverfront places that I've never been to as a kid, and like I've seen kind of like some of the restaurants in East St. Louis, and I've had some friends from East St. Louis. It's just like, yeah, there's some great Chinese food and all this. They put gravy on Chinese food, and I'm like, I might need to try that one day. But at the same time, I'm also just afraid is like crime rates are pretty bad over there. I don't know. But anyway, like it, because like I think that sense of like, especially like going through those areas, like I never really planned to go through those areas. And when you go through those areas and you see things like that barbecue place, it's just like you almost find like a little treasure. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That you didn't know you were going to find. And that's like actually like a better feeling than it's like, hey, we're going to go to this restaurant that a lot of people told me about, and I can just look it up on the GPS, and then we're there in like 20 minutes. You know, it almost feels like underwhelming, you know. But if you just like just trip upon like some random place you go in, and it's like, yeah, what the hell, let's try it. And then it's like amazing, and it's like, wow, it's so much more rewarding, you know. And I think,
and then you try to go back a few weeks later with some friends, and like the building's just not even there anymore. And like there's an old man on the street corner. You're like, hey, where'd that restaurant go? And he's like, there hasn't been a restaurant there in 50 years. Every time.
You can't explain that every time.
Yeah, it's like, no, I had like the best wings here. It's like, but like that actually happens in China all the time. Like the economy moves so fast over there that there is literally a place that I loved eating like this pork or rice like every day at. And then like, it wasn't every day. It was like it came up like 1 week, and I was like, hey, this is a good place. I'll have to take Fanfang to it next week. And then we went there next week and it was closed. And I asked the people there, and it's like, yep, the pork prices went up, so they closed. And they're not coming back. And like a few days later, there was like a construction crew in there, like revenerating. Wait, what do you call it?
Renovating
Renovating it.
You had all the letters.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to Scrabble, I like throw up a Scrabble tiles on you guys, but you guys figured it out. But like
a little confused, but you had the spirit.
But yeah, that happens all the time in China. Just like things move so quickly. So like sometimes it was exciting, but sometimes it was really disappointing because you might have liked the place that was there before.
But now I get to discover something new. Now there'll be
exactly
an attorney or something there.
Yeah, well,
maybe I can get my will signed.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of it was like just restaurants moving very quick. It was usually restaurants because like I mean, I know it's kind of a stereotype, but like even in China, like a lot of Chinese people are always dreaming about opening up a restaurant, and their first thought of like, at least the friends that I asked, like every time they talk about going out and making it in another country, of like, oh, we should open up a restaurant or a nail salon. I'm like, okay, you know, I guess that's why there's a lot of those.
It just works. You're
I mean,
guaranteed to get clients.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing what happens when foreigners go to China. A lot of foreigners like end up, including myself.
See a lot of restaurants close though.
Yeah.
Like the restaurant industry can be pretty brutal. Like something like 80% close within their first 5 years of opening.
Here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know that because like it seems over here, every time I come over here, it seems like restaurants are so stable, but like in China, like literally
in smaller towns, like there are, and like, you know, bigger name ones, yeah. But like if you pay attention to a lot of like the small ones that haven't like, you know, been in a neighborhood for like decades and stuff already, because they're obviously not going anywhere. But like you see a small restaurant open in like a new neighborhood, you know, go back in like 2 years, there's a pretty good chance it won't be there.
I can't really think of any places that are like,
I mean, even in Edwardsville, like if you think of there's a couple of different units on like Main Street that have like cycled through 4 or 5 different places in the last years.
And they just lost Edgewild.
That
got replaced.
Biscuit.
Yep.
And
Edgewild got totally screwed by just
yeah.
It's just like they opened, they did all that renovation, and then 2020.
Yep.
I was like, man, that fucking sucks.
You know,
Biscuit's doing fantastic though.
Good.
That
place sounds cool.
I haven't actually eaten any of their food yet, but through my day job, I like supply them with some stuff. And
really?
Like they their like second weekend, they had like 3-hour waits and stuff.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But even before it was
That's
Edgewild, it was like something called like the Bull and Bear or whatever.
Yep, it was Bull and Bear.
And then
that was what it was all through college for me.
Before that, it was something called Krieger's. So like that one unit has been like 5 different restaurants since I was in high school. It's just a cursed building.
Well, I had a lot of drinks at Bull and Bear.
Because there's like a little cursed building in Maryville as well. Like, there's like this, like right off of Main Street, like right next to the elementary school. There's this little hut looking place that has been everything under the sun. It's been like a law place. It's been like a hair salon, a sandwich shop, an ice cream shop. I don't know what it is anymore. Like it just keeps cycling. It just seems like that one spot. It's never going to be anything. Yeah. It's just going to be everything. You know,
maybe that's its life cycle. Maybe that's its adventure. It wants to be
every
everything.
Possibility.
This is not even its final form.
And one day it'll become an amalgamation of all of its old businesses. They'll just show up all at one time and rent it out, and it'll be like a 15 specialized location.
You get some like marriage counseling while you're having your nails done, eating
that. And they're making you wings.
Well, I mean, I mean, like, you know, I feel like if you open up a place like that that's just like a whole bunch of random crazy stuff, like people would go there just for the random crazy stuff. It's like, yeah, I got my nails did while I had like the best beefsteak of my life. Like, you gotta go here, man.
And they divorced us in and out. It was the easiest divorce of my life.
Yeah, that
food too. I've never had such a great meal at a divorce.
Yeah. Fast food style, like divorces, you know, do they have those? I'd imagine, because like you know you can get eloped, but can you get like the opposite at just as fast?
I think there are a lot of loopholes that you can, but I think in general it's more complex no matter what.
I mean, I feel
pay alimony, right?
Depending on
yeah
how amicable the two. If the two parties like are already in like agreement about everything, it could probably be pretty quick. But if there's any like argument to be had,
yeah,
you know, money involved.
I suppose. Like I just, that thought has never run through my mind until just now. I just felt like I need to blurt it out. You know, let's see.
Write it on the list of across the other pond business ideas.
Like drive-through divorce.
You come in separate cars, you sign the first one, second person follows behind you and they sign it, and then you're done.
Well, wait. No, okay. Hear me out. How it rallies tends to have 2 drive-throughs, one on each side of the building.
One for the husband, one for the wife.
On one side, drive-through divorces on the other side.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea.
Diverse.
Yeah, the old In-N-Out. It gives the In-N-Out burger a whole different idea. Like in the marriage or out of the marriage, you got to pick a side, you know. But like, yeah, this is a $100 million idea. I would say million, but I think it's good. Like with the divorce rates nowadays, it's going to be 100 million. But like,
with whatever the divorce rates are, you know, the marriage rates have to be at least as high because you got to get married first. Capitalize on both.
That's a solid point.
Exactly. That, you know, you got
working both sides so that I always come out on top.
Yeah, you got to give all parties the American dream. Like, you know, this is how it is. You know, but like, yeah, and I'm trying to bring it back to exploration. Maybe the exploration of marriage. You know?
I think we can explore our way out of here.
Oh yeah,
it's about time to wrap up. I think got about a minute left. Do a little plugs. Couple of plugs.
Yep.
Carl, do you have anything you want to plug to our audience?
I mean, be on the lookout for that double drive-through popping up in a town near you.
Yeah.
We need a marriage.
If we ever see that come up anywhere, we know exactly where they got that idea. There's no way anybody else has come up with this idea.
I just saw in my mind's eye like the logo on the side, like the sign. It's gonna be like one of those like 50s drive-through kind of like neon signs, and it's like American Dream and that kind of like old, like, you know how like people in the 50s thought like the future would look kind of text. And then like it then just like all shiny, like every time you look at it, it just for some reason it just appears like one sparkle on one side, you know. Yeah, that's what it's going to be, the American Dream. It's tear to my eye, just you know.
The whole building is chrome.
Oh yeah, like pink chrome, you know.
The steel importing prices these days.
Yeah, cost of building materials, man, it's skyrocketed. But yeah, well, I mean, did you want to plug maybe like your like any of your classes or
I mean, I guess we briefly mentioned that I'm here as a martial arts teacher, which makes me obviously an expert on both marriages and divorce. But yeah, I teach capoeira, Brazilian martial arts, that's kind of a combination of sexy dance fighting and even sexier Brazilian music. So if anyone's looking for that in the St. Louis area, I teach on Wednesday nights at 6:30 at Flow State in Fox Park, and we also jam in Tower Grove Park at 3 p.m. on Sundays.
You know, the only other place I've seen capoeira is on the show Bob's Burgers.
That's where the only place a lot of people have seen it.
Really? I didn't know that it appeared in like Bob's Burgers.
There's a very silly episode about a capoeira instructor.
It is the most seductive of martial arts.
Is it now?
Yep.
I've never heard that before.
I think I also get it confused with Krav Maga.
Really?
Just the words.
I mean,
Krav Maga is from Israel, and outside of Brazil, Israel has the most capoeiristas per capita.
Really?
For some reason, capoeira is like super popular in Israel.
Huh. That's interesting too. Like,
I just imagine somebody was like, "What's the name of that martial art? It starts with a K sound. Capoeira. That must be it."
Yeah, it's like teach all the soldiers it.
Learning that instead of Krav
Maga. And then like they into battle, it's like, yeah, let's get in a circle. It's like, and then they just get shot in the head, and it's like, oh well.
Did that soldier get
yeah, man, that was man, that was some cool moves. It's like shoot you in the head.
Definitely get that guy. Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Follow us on Instagram at Across the Other Pond. All the other socials we have. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell. Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yeah,
you know, all the
stars
things you plug at the
really
end.
Like it.
Yeah, or 4 stars. Don't give us anything less than 4. I really just can't handle it.
Give us 1, because like we're number 1.
Just to
if you give us 1 star, I will email you so many times asking why you did that. You will get hundreds of emails.
Cody, don't threaten our audience. Don't with a good time. All right. Anyway, well, thank you, Carl, for coming on. Like, we super appreciate it, and it was great talking with you, man.
Fun to be here.
Awesome, awesome.
Well, we are going to jump back in the pot and swim to the other side now. Goodbye, everyone.